I got to the bottom of the escalator, and then right there in front of me is a bumblebee, and I look up at his face, and it's my friend, Firefighter Chris Blackwell from Rescue 3. Not just a firefighter, not just a badass Bronx Harlem firefighter, but my friend, who I had worked with for 7 years, not just in the company, but on the same shift. So we did everything together. We had done so much good for so many people together. He was like my real brother. And we were the Bronx Harlem guys. We weren't the Manhattan guys. So we didn't follow the rules quite as much. Chris's gear was kind of burned up from all the fires that he was in. The reflective stripes were kind of hanging off. He didn't really shave for a couple days. His face was all smudged from the fires and smoke he went through. And his helmet was so melted that it sat crooked on his head. And so he was like this caricature of a salty senior Bronx Harlem fireman. But he would leave work, he would get in his car and go home to Connecticut where he grew up and where he lived. And he was a paramedic in his home community. So all Chris did his whole adult life was help other people. Chris was so good at what he did and had so much respect in the Bronx Harlem Fire Department that anytime we had a patient or a victim, especially if it was a child, we would always look for Chris's hands to put that victim in because we knew in his hand that child had the best chance at living. Get to the bottom of the escalator. He's there, just like poof. And we always greeted each other the same way, no matter what was happening around us. And so we saw each other. We came a few feet apart. We stood at attention. With his right hand, he reaches over, and a big arc. He takes the unlit stub of a cigar out of his mouth. He puts it back down at his side. We both lean in from the hips, kiss on the lips, and then we come back to attention, and he does the same motion with the cigar, and he puts it back in his mouth. And we did this for two reasons, right? We did it because we loved each other. I grew up with three brothers. We kissed on the lips. We kissed our dad on the lips. It was not weird or anything. And Chris and I were like brothers. We loved each other. With every ounce of our being, we loved each other. Reason number two, it freaked out all the firemen around us, and we loved watching their reaction to us doing this. So it was very funny. So we had that moment in the North Tower lobby on the morning of September 11th. And after we went through the motions, Chris said to me, "I love you." He said, "Timmy, this is really bad." And I said, "I love you, brother. Be careful." And he said, "I love you too." And he turned around and he went in the stairwell and he went up to save the lives of people he did not know. Right? In that moment, Dalton, in that moment, Chris made a choice. He could have taken his helmet off and turned around and went home to his lovely children and wife. Or he could go up the stairs to save the lives of people he did not know. And he made that choice, and he went up the stairwell. Why? He did it because 15 years earlier he had taken an oath. And that oath said, the words say, I'm willing to give up my life for someone I don't know. I'm willing to give up my life for my neighbor, to save their life, right? Chris had taken this oath. In that moment, he made a conscious decision to follow through on those words in action, in deed. To go up those stairs to save the lives of people he didn't know. And it seems to me I've read that in a book somewhere before. Happens to be the most popular book in the world, called the Bible. And it says right in there that giving up your life for someone you don't know, for your neighbor, is an act of the greatest love. So in the end, that's what Chris chose to do. With the last act of his life, he chose that act to demonstrate the love he had for his fellow humans. In fact, that is exactly what every one of the 343 heroes, the 30 fire department heroes, the 37 Port Authority police officer heroes, the 23 NYPD police heroes, all the others, the court officers who did the same thing. All those people in the end of their life chose to fulfill their oath and to perform acts of the greatest love known to man.
If you like this clip and you want to watch another, click here. And if you want to watch the full interview, click here.